The Canon RF 100-300mm f2.8 is quite the lens. As a full-time headshot photographer, it's not exactly going to be my daily driver lens, but does it have a place in my kit? Let's find out. When I'm not doing headshots, I like to shoot my kids' soccer and dance events. Call it my personal projects. I'm far from a sports photography expert, but they have a lot of games and competitions, so I'm getting a lot of practice over the last few years. When thinking about this lens, a longer, fast sports lens, the 100-300 range just had a lot more appeal over a 400 prime. I just felt a 400 would be too limiting given that I'd be using this lens in a variety of conditions and distances. In other words, the 100-300 felt more practical or approachable, if that's a word you can use when talking about lenses like these. For soccer, this lens is fantastic. From the sidelines, I can follow the action right down the line, zooming as needed to keep things in frame. This just isn't possible with a fixed 400 prime, or any prime. If the action comes closer, you're out of luck. Going back to that approachable idea, if you're newer to super zooms, 100-300 range is also a lot easier to get the hang of than a fixed 400. Subscribing to my channel is also very approachable. If you're enjoying this video, be sure to subscribe and hit the like button. Thanks. The portraits are of course amazing from this lens. I'll be working on a different video on this very topic, so stay tuned for that. How does the 100-300 compare to the 70-200 2.8? Well, I've heard this lens referred to as the 70-200 on steroids, and I think that's fair. It's a big lens, especially if you're not used to these larger lenses. If you shoot without the rather substantial hood, you'll save a bit of bulk, and it also makes the lens slightly less obnoxious when mingling with spectators or parents. The added refinements are there, with a great tripod collar design and a few more switches and buttons. One notable option is the ability to set a predetermined focus point. Turns out, if you know where the action's going to be, it's a lot safer to lock the focus and not bet on autofocus grabbing the action in a split second. Capturing the perfect moment in sports is really about being perfectly situated and ready for the shot before the action happens. The 100-300 is also fully compatible with the 1.4 and 2x Canon teleconverters, unlike the 70-200. I've heard some rumors talking about updated teleconverters too, so we'll see. Of course, you can handhold this lens, but I'm likely going to keep it on a monopod most of the time. I'm really spoiled by my tripods in the studio. They do save a lot of strain on my neck and back. So my final thoughts. Is all the heft worth it for an additional 100 millimeters of range at f2.8? It's a tough question, and one I think you really have to answer for yourself. On paper, it's a very tough call, but this is one of those lenses where the look speaks louder than any numbers on your comparison spreadsheet. This fall, I'll be testing out the lens at some evening football games with dance team performances, flying cheerleaders, and maybe some football photos too. So stay tuned for that. In the meantime, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.